Hey there, Robyn Openshaw. Welcome to Robyn Openshaw Bitcoin, where I talk to you in small chunks about things you need to know about Bitcoin. I believe it's moving to be the base layer of money. You might see me as crazy, but check back with me in 5 years. And last night in our Wednesday night mastermind, I was asked a really great question, so foundational to understanding Bitcoin. And the question was, what is the fundamental value of Bitcoin? And I'd love to be able to give you like a 30-second answer, but this is why we have a mastermind on Wednesday nights to understand Bitcoin. I believe you could get a master's degree in it, but there aren't any master's degrees because that's how early you are in getting involved in this asset. And while I don't give financial advice, I will say zero is the wrong number. I find that when people buy $50 worth of Bitcoin or $500 worth of Bitcoin or 5,000, they start learning and they're always glad that they did. It really starts to give you hope in what's going to be ahead of us in the world when you have sovereign money. So the fundamental value of Bitcoin can feel sort of intangible, and that's a criticism. Is well, what's the tangibility of Bitcoin? I might ask the same question of your money in the bank, which is just a bunch of zeros and ones. And if you don't believe me, go try to withdraw the entire value of your bank account in dollars. I tried to withdraw 5% of what I had in the bank in March of 2020 and was in for a rude awakening when I had to go to 3 different bank branches over 24 hours to get enough money. That was when I realized they don't have money in this bank. Stock values, what are they based on? They're based on the projected earnings or what in the collective imagination and based on history they think that this company will be earning in the future. So that's not that tangible either. And I could go through all kinds of different asset classes. Sure, real estate is an actual physical wood box that you can live in. It's an actual thing. There's the shiny gold metal and the shiny silver metal, but that's a topic for another day. I think I did a video on why I sold $1.2 million worth of gold. And so you can take a look at that if you want. We're moving to an age where I think Bitcoin will absolutely eclipse gold, and had a really rough time trying to sell that gold. So literally the 7 dealers near me, only one of them would take it. So Bitcoin, what's the fundamental value? Well, one of the things I love about Bitcoin is that it's bringing savings back, right? It doesn't pay a dividend or a yield. It doesn't produce a cash flow like a rental property does, but you can set it and forget it. You can also self-custody it. My next video will be about your different options, self-custodying versus getting some exposure to Bitcoin and having some indirect upside potential of it by investing in some of the traditional finance system instruments out there. But let's say that you actually personally own your Bitcoin. What's so exciting about this asset is first and foremost, it's digital scarcity. Okay, your fiat currency just doesn't have this. And anything that's pinned to the digital currency or the fiat currency, such as the dollar, they just print more. They don't even pretend they don't print more. They don't even promise us to stop printing more. They just print more money and print more money. And that's why our inflation rate is at 4% right now. Most people don't understand inflation. They just think it's just a part of how things are, that we lose 4% of the value of our money every year. I actually think we're losing a lot more than 4% of the value of our money in a year than what they publish and what they say. And I think they manipulate the statistics. But with Bitcoin, you have 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be mined. There cannot be more than 21 million Bitcoin. So this creates a hard scarcity, which we do not have with any of the fiat currencies. The second fundamental value is in its decentralization. There's a whole lot of crypto projects out there, and if you really start looking at them, you figure out they're not really decentralized. Bitcoin has no issuer, it has no company behind it, it has no founder, no person they can put in jail, no boardroom of people who can make dumb decisions. It is truly decentralized, run by thousands of node operators all over the world. It survived 16 years, survived all kinds of challenges. No government, corporation, or individual can control it. China tried to ban it when 60% of the Bitcoin mining was in China. What did all those Bitcoin miners do? They ran to another country. They weren't going to give up their cash cow. They ran mostly to the United States. So then China re-allowed Bitcoin. This has happened a couple times. They've given up. It's legal. Putin in Russia has said a country cannot ban Bitcoin. So in Russia, they're embracing it. In the US, the Trump administration is embracing it. This is all super bullish for Bitcoin. And so it's really valuable as a neutral global money system. And I think we're going to move there more and more because it's not just us as individuals who are frustrated by inflation. It's also governments who are frustrated by the fact that there's not a neutral global money system. The US having the global reserve currency isn't really that great for the US. Okay, it looks like the Trump administration knows that they're moving to a multipolar world. Number three, the fundamental value of Bitcoin is that it's a store of value, okay? So most people treat Bitcoin like digital gold. In fact, it really hasn't been used much as a medium of exchange because its value has just gone through the roof. It's gone up 50 to 60% a year for 16 years. So people don't want to spend it. They want to hold it. So even Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, has called it digital gold a few times. So that's quite an acknowledgement from the central banker of all central bankers, right? There's also the network effects. As it's grown, as more people have adopted it, as there, like I said, are thousands of node operators, the network itself is really sort of the power behind it. Number five is its security and immutability. There's a proof of work consensus, and that seems like a big word. It might be a foreign word, but basically there is a great deal of work and energy that has to be expended to get it, just like you have to expend energy to get gold, and that's why gold is valuable. You know, they can't just print it into existence. Number six, the fact that there's a monetary policy transparency because it's a public ledger. Okay, you can't look at the ledger and say, oh, Robyn Openshaw bought some Bitcoin today, but you can see my purchase. You can see all the transactions on the public ledger. You can see that whoever founded Bitcoin, who went by Satoshi Nakamoto, probably because they didn't want to go to jail for the countries of the world seeing them as creating a currency to compete with the fiat currencies of the world. The schedule is public, it's predictable, it's unchangeable. No one person or even a faction can come together to change that. So it's also infinitely divisible. I think a Satoshi, which is like a tiny fraction of a Bitcoin, is 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin. So when you say, well, is 21 million really enough for the whole world? It really is. It really is. And as Bitcoin grows, it will move into the right hands. You may not like that banks are now coming into Bitcoin, but guess what? That's freedom money. The central bankers can get in on Bitcoin. They weren't able to get rid of it. So if you can't beat them, join them, seems to be their MO right now. So that's a little bit about the fundamental value of Bitcoin in as short of a time period that I could tell it to you. If you want to join our Wednesday night mastermind, we meet for 90 minutes every Wednesday night, totally worth your time to realize how the ground underneath you is changing as our financial system shifts. And it's still early days, still a great time for you to get in. I believe that Bitcoin is, I don't have a crystal ball, but I think it's going to $1 million a coin. 5 million, $10 million a coin and beyond. Plenty of people think it will be worth tens of millions of dollars. That would be life-changing for just about everyone. Okay, so join us in our mastermind on Wednesday nights. I'll put a link down below so you can get a third month free. Also use the coupon code ROBYN, ROBYN, to get an extra $50 off, and I'll see you on Wednesday night.